Hi team, it's Frances. I'm here with another homework alert. Today I'd love for the topic to be feedback. And it's something that's come up a lot in my classes recently. So there's two types of feedback. There is the evaluative feedback. That's the feedback you might get at the end of the year. It tells you how you rank against other people, and it might indicate promotions and bonus and things. That's not the feedback that we're talking about. Today I want to talk about improvement-oriented feedback. This is the feedback you give to someone else, the goal of which is to help make them better. So if I give someone else feedback, and you can think about feedback as it occurs at a moment in time for someone else, if I give someone else feedback and they get better as a result of the feedback, I gave them effective feedback. Only way I know it's effective is after we find out, did the person get better? The feedback is ineffective if after I give feedback, there's no change in performance. And the feedback was destructive if as a result of the feedback, somebody got worse. So improvement-oriented feedback, we want to recode perhaps what we think about effective feedback. It's not this, oh, I told you so, I told you, and so you have a chance to act on it, but rather I want us to take extended accountability. I only get to give myself credit for effective feedback after you improve. So that's what I want to talk about. So when we're thinking about feedback, we have two levers at our disposal: positive reinforcement, and that's when we catch people doing something right. So when you made this comment in class, you were doing that, helped project and help propel the learning. Constructive advice is closer to, I'm going to catch you doing something wrong. So when you did this, we would want you to do it differently. So positive reinforcement is, please do more of the same thing. Constructive advice is, please do it differently next time in order to get a better performance. All right, so there's positive reinforcement, constructive advice. There is a ratio of these two that yields the steepest learning curve. And so the ideal ratio from positive reinforcement to constructive advice is quite surprising to many. And that is, we have to give far more positive reinforcement than we otherwise perhaps think. For every one bit of constructive advice we give, please do this differently, we have to give 5 bits of positive reinforcement. Now, when we give positive reinforcement, there's a couple of things to know about it. One, it takes about 12 seconds to deliver positive reinforcement. So this is more of a drive-by. When you did this, it was super helpful, please do more of that, and this very specific thing. So we need it to be as specific as possible, and it should go without saying, but it has to be sincere. If we're not sincere in our feedback, people will pick it up immediately. So sincere and specific positive reinforcement. We need 5 bits of that for every 1 bit of constructive advice. I find that many of us have a much lower ratio than this, maybe a 2-to-1 ratio, because they heard of some untasty sandwich and they thought, oh, say something nice and then constructive and then nice. That's wholly ineffective. Instead, what we want to do is for you to realize that we see you, we're paying enough attention, that we're telling you what to do more of. And then the aperture is open for you to hear the constructive advice. Now, when I tell people 5-to-1 at first, they're like, whoa, that doesn't sound right. How could I possibly see that much good in someone? And indeed, if we want to give people feedback, we do have to start paying more attention to them. But it might surprise you to know that the real number here, if we really want somebody to improve, it's actually 5-to-1 is a bit of an understatement, and really it's 10-to-1. And the way you can think about this is, if I am going to give you feedback, constructive advice every day, I have to give you positive reinforcement every hour. If you're going to go for every week, think about it more of the day. Every month, think about it on the order of magnitude of a week. So I don't like to suggest to people how much constructive advice you'd give someone else. That's contextually dependent. I'm sure you'll get it right. But I can tell you how much positive reinforcement that means that you need to do. And what I would say is, start at 5-to-1. And marvel at how your relationships improve, marvel at how much better other people get. And so if you take up this homework assignment, which is to adjust your feedback ratio to begin with to 5 to 1, I'd love to learn from your experiences. So I hope you find this helpful.